What do you think a mature and equipped follower of Christ really looks like? What are you doing in your church to help your people in spiritual formation? Is what you're doing taking people to that destiny? 35 years ago, as a young pastor, like probably many of you, I had my hopes and dreams about beginning a church that God would greatly use. And we were blessed. The church was birthed, it began to grow. I think the first multiple campus church. We were having a lot of conversions, a lot of harmony, and it just looked like things were good. But I was away on a study leave, alone praying and thinking, and I sensed something's missing in the church. And many of us know in the pastorate that something is not there. We're not building our people to be the mature, equipped, solid believers that we need to be doing in church work. And I knew that we were doing as good a job as I knew how to do or where to go to find. Well, this book was written because I went on a search. I went back to our leadership and I said, I think the goal that we should be having is in the lives of people, and it's to build mature and equipped followers of Christ. And they agreed. And we defined what that looked like and said, we have people in the church becoming that, but way too few, way too few. How do we accelerate that and make exciting, dynamic growth in people's lives the priority of what we're doing in church, and let them be the one that multiplies, not us bringing them to the church only, but how do they become who they need to be to impact the world? Well, I went on a search, and that search went on for a while, and this book tells the story of how we came to grips with what the answer we're convinced is. It's basically teaching us to do what Jesus did with his 12. How do you take a handful and take them to maturity and see that multiply over and over until you're impacting even the community? I've been privileged to have a little group doing this. This is my 46th, just finishing my 46th consecutive year of doing so. And I can tell you now, it is the single most important thing that I do year in and year out as a pastor. I would not give it up for anything. I remember being with a pastor that we were in a group of men my age. We were all the same age and all had growing larger churches. And the question came up, how do you take people to maturity? And this leading nationally known pastor, I think, spoke for a lot of people when he said, you know what? I don't think you can take people to depth today in church. The way church is today, if you can get people to worship, if you can get them to do evangelism and a little bit of volunteerism, that's about the best you can do. And I sat thinking, no, there is an answer. He went on to say this. He said, how many of you people had someone in your life that was like a spiritual sergeant, kind of coaching you, teaching you, pushing you, loving you, but taking you in your spiritual pilgrimage where you ended up? Do you know, there were probably 11 of us around the table discussing this, and all 11 of us raised our hand, every one of us. And then I remember him saying, how would you do that in church today? Well, I'm telling you, it can be done in church today. I know it because we're getting to watch it happen. We're far from where we want to be, don't get me wrong, but we're seeing it happen when people are modeling what Jesus did in the lives, men with men, women with women, taking a few people on a spiritual journey. It's taken to a place of maturity and equipping. So that's what's been for us. It has been the most radical, important decision that we've ever found, ever made in the history of our church. Insourcing discipleship in the local church, not allowing it just to be the parachurch, but do it within the church. We can change the paradigm of church, and we can change the world as a result of it.